So you watch a lot of videos about how to reset your attention span and lock the fuck in. And you wanna start getting good grades, start new hobbies, just to get you to stop scrolling. But in the first few days, you've actually realized that it's pretty hard. You sit down to do something productive and not even 5 minutes after, you feel this urge to grab your phone and start scrolling. And now you feel so frustrated with yourself because you cannot seem to get anything done. And that's why you click on this video, because I know that you may have a pretty alarming short attention span. That's why I really want to challenge you to watch till the very end of this video. Put this video in full screen, no 2-speed, no skipping through chapters, no eating something, no dancing, like don't do anything else, because by doing this it's going to improve your attention span by at least 5%. And you may think that it's going to be easy, but nah. I'm gonna put no b-roll, no text on screen, no sound effects, no music in the background. And yeah, it's going to feel agonizing, highly uncomfortable, highly stimulating, so good luck. So why a lot of people are talking about this? Why it has become so popular? This whole detox your brain, stop scrolling, this whole detox your brain, stop scrolling type shit. Because this is a real thing. Actually, 20 years ago, some studies has showed that people's attention spans were about 11 seconds. And we are talking about millennials. And today, Gen Z have actually an attention span of 8 seconds. So it has diminished by about 3 seconds. Now I literally see my little cousin, who have literally 8 years old, who spend more than 2 hours per day scrolling on short form content. Truly, I don't know, by the time they're going to be 18, 20 years old, I don't know how bad it's going to be. They're going to have maybe 5 seconds of attention span, and it's so serious, this situation. And this is not your entire fault. These apps are literally engineered to keep you there, to keep you scrolling for hours and hours. That's how they make money. But it is your responsibility to get you out of it and fix your brain. Now your baseline of dopamine is very high to the roof, and you need to do the obvious unsexy thing, which is do the opposite. So here are the 3 tips that really helped me going from 3 hours of scrolling every single day on TikTok to just hating scrolling every time I open TikTok. If I watch some entertainment content, it gives me the ick. I feel uncomfortable. It doesn't feel natural for me to keep scrolling and watching. The last one is even more life-changing, that when I implemented it for the first time, it completely changed whether or not I was willing to scroll on TikTok that day for hours and hours, or just feel uncomfortable and just hate scrolling. So first tip obviously is to make your phone boring and start doing boring things. So choose a niche, some type of content that is more boring than the current one that you're watching. And most times, I guess you're watching entertainment content, or at least some sort of gossip drama about celebrities type of content. That shit is really, really hooking. Your brain releases so much dopamine every time you are watching that sort of content. Scrolling and watching tons of them is going to make it worse. So you gotta change that. You need to make it boring by clicking the little 3 dots that you see on the bottom right of the video and click not interested. That's how you're going to rewire your whole algorithm of TikTok, YouTube Shorts, whatever app you're watching this short form content from. So the algorithm knows that you don't like watching this type of content, and start rewiring it by liking educational content. Content that is going to help you in your self-development journey. Content that is going to help you become more disciplined about how to get good grades, how to go to the gym and get your fit dream body. That content is obviously more boring. So not only this content is going to make you hate scrolling, but it's going to also educate you. So this is not only going to make you scroll less because they are naturally more boring, they are also going to educate you, bring you closer to your goals and higher version of yourself, and start doing boring things like reading books, doing your homework instead of scrolling. And guess what? All of this is going to be even easier because watching educational content feels as boring as doing your homework or reading a book. They give you pretty much the same amount of dopamine. So slowly but surely, as you do this every single day, it's going to rewire your baseline, okay? The same way you got addicted to scrolling for 3 hours per day, you can rewire it and make your brain normalize a lower baseline of dopamine. But this can be achieved only through intentional, conscious effort of doing hard and boring things. So make sure that you stick to that for long enough so it feels more natural for you. Now, I've been reading 10 pages of book every single day for months now. I've been sleeping for 9 hours per day. I've been going to bed and waking up at the same hour just because I was no longer scrolling in the evening before going to sleep. Posting 3 videos per week, which is unimaginable for the past version of me because I was posting like 1 video per month and sometimes even per 6 months. So this shit is mind-blowing and it's going to transform you too. But obviously I didn't transform and had this huge quantum leap overnight. Like I didn't clap and decided that, oh my god, yeah, tomorrow I'm going to watch educational content and I'm going to scroll less for 5 minutes per day and post 3 videos per week and all this stuff. Like, no, obviously it's not really realistic and not really sustainable in the long run because trust me, I tried it. I tried to stop scrolling immediately, going from scrolling for 3 hours per day and then the next day none. Like it lasted for 2 to 3 days and then I went back scrolling for 2 to 3 hours. So trust me, I went through this shit and instead this is going to save you a lot of headache and stress on, oh my god, how am I going to change? Like, why is it so hard? Like, why do I keep falling into the same trap and cycle? This second tip is going to help you so much like it did for me, which is to obviously start small. I think that the reason why a lot of us want things fast is, first of all, because of this short form content, we are wired to get rewarded fast. So every time we need to do our homework, learn a new language, learn a hobby, pursue a passion, whatever it is, we don't do it because the reason why it feels boring is because now, because of scrolling, you have rewired your brain to get a huge amount of dopamine fast because you just need to grab your phone. And every other thing that requires a longer time for you to finish it and master it, it's going to feel boring. Plus, you're going to receive so little reward and dopamine at the end of it. And I know it's going to be hard, but trust me, once you pass through that initial phase, you're going to thank your past self for even starting in the first place. Because see, just imagine if you could just cut 10 minutes per day of scrolling after 1 month, how big of a transformation you're going to get, how much improvement you're going to get by replacing that 10 minutes of scrolling with a hobby of yours, with improving your studying. That's how I did it. And trust me, the in-between stage is going to feel agonizing. There are going to be days where you feel empty, you feel uncomfortable, and you need to train yourself and force yourself to stop scrolling and instead do your homework, do your hobby. Trust me, your brain is going to slowly but surely adapt to this rhythm. I'm proof of it. Third tip, which is the most life-changing one. Do you remember that I promised it at the beginning where I said that this thing is something that rewired my baseline of dopamine so much in a pretty fast way? So for those who are impatient like me, then you need to do this, but this is going to be so hard. I know for some of y'all. And it was for me, which is the fact that I stopped meditating for 3 minutes per day and I started to meditate for 20 minutes per day. Yeah, just sitting in a quiet environment in silence, doing nothing with your eyes closed for 20 minutes straight in the morning. It's so important that you do this in the morning because this is going to set your entire day for success. If you manage to pass through these 20 minutes, really, I promise you, your entire day is going to be the most transformative, different day you've ever had in a while. Because after I did that for the first time, I could not believe the immediate transformation and effects it had on my brain. Because usually in the morning, after I did my morning routine and did some content, I go for a 1 hour, 2 hour walk, and I got very, very used to listening to songs that were pretty stimulative for my brain. Without my AirPods, and be sure that I'm not going to go out for a walk without listening to something, otherwise it's going to be too boring. But guess what? I brought my AirPods like I usually did. While I was walking and listening to the first song that was playing on Spotify, oh my god, I couldn't believe I didn't want to listen to it. I wanted to walk without my AirPods, without listening to anything, because I felt like it was too much. Like, oh my god, really, if you don't believe me, try it yourself. Like, I swear on the universe, whatever. This literally worked on the first day that I tried it. This is how Destimulating is going to be 20 minutes of meditation, and it's going to be worth it, okay? And this is something that made me hate scrolling the most, because as the day passed, as I continued to meditate 20 minutes per day, I started to become more aware of the moment, of the present moment. And that's what it takes to stop you from scrolling. All it takes is awareness. The key is literally awareness. Every time I scrolled and watched some entertainment content, suddenly it felt too much. But not only that, I started to become more aware of how overstimulating it was for my brain. And I actually was starting to be aware of how my brain was like sort of suffering, because of that overstimulation. And I was getting like slowly overwhelmed by that amount of sound effects, that these entertainment content have every single second. And now I prefer to listen to podcasts in the free time instead of scrolling. I prefer watching documentaries on dinosaurs. Literally, it feels so weird for me to say that, but I used to like watching Mr. Beast content. And now every time I watch it, I don't know why, but I don't enjoy it anymore. And it's so weird. And yeah, if you want to really go deeper into how to really stop feeling overwhelmed on a daily basis, it's not only about scrolling, which is something that no one talks about, then watch this.